evening and welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Tamiru Nimsat. Let's have a look at the headlines. Government clarifies its policy on rural community development and social protection. Madhya Pradesh in India invites Sri Lankan travelers. News in detail. The Ministry of Rural Development, Social Security and Community Empowerment has presented its budgetary requirements and strategic initiatives for the coming year. Minister Dr. Palipannilage detailed the government's approach to strengthening social safety nets and rural community development during the committee stage debate.
ග්‍රාමීය සංවර්ධන සමාජ ආරක්ෂණ සහ ප්‍රජා සවිබල ගැනීමේ අමාත්‍යාංශය ප්‍රධාන ක්ෂේත්‍ර තුනක් ආවරණය කරනවා. මේ ක්ෂේත්‍ර තුනේ ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් අපේ ආයතන 10ක් යටතේ තමයි අපි කටයුතු කරමින් ඉන්නේ. විශේෂයෙන්ම ග්‍රාම සංවර්ධනයේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ග්‍රාම සංවර්ධන කාර්යාංශයක් අපි 2025 වසර තුල ආරම්භ කරා. ඒ වගේම ග්‍රාම සංවර්ධන අභ්‍යාස පර්යේෂණ ආයතනයක් අපේ අමාත්‍යාංශය යටතේ තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ලෝක ආහාර වැඩසටහනේ සහයෝගිතා ලේකම් කාර්යාලයත් ග්‍රාම සංවර්ධනය වෙනුවෙන් අපි විශේෂයෙන්ම මෙහෙයවමින් වැඩ කටයුතු කරමින් ඉන්නවා. අනෙක් පැත්තෙන් සමාජ ආරක්ෂණය විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි කල්පනා කරන දෙයක් තමයි අපිට අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ අන්තර්කරණීය සමාජයක්, inclusive society එකක්.
The government also announced that the Samruddhi movement is not only to financially strengthen the needy people but also to educate them on financial literacy and humane qualities. This was mentioned by the Minister of Rural Development, Social Security and Community Empowerment, Dr. Palipannilage, during the debate.
දැන් සමහර විපක්ෂ මන්ත්‍රීවරු අපෙන් ඇහුවා දිලිඳුකම තුරන් කිරීම සඳහා අපේ වැඩපිළිවෙල කුමක්ද කියලා. ගරු නියෝජ්‍ය කතානායකතුමනි, දිලිඳුකම තුරන් කිරීම සඳහා අපේ වැඩපිළිවෙල එක ආයතනයකට එක අමාත්‍යාංශයකට පමණක් සීමා වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපෙන් ඇහුවා වගේ අපි ආධාර දීලා පමණක් දිලිඳුකම තුරන් කිරීමට අපේක්ෂා කරන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් ආධාර ලැබිය යුතු පිරිසට ආධාර ලබා දෙමින් සවිබල ගැන්විය යුතු අය සවිබල ගන්වමින් නිෂ්පාදන ක්‍රියාවලියට දායක කළ හැකි අය දායකත්වයේ ලබා ගනිමින් අපි ඊටමත් පුළුල් ඒකාබද්ධ වැඩපිළිවෙලක් යටතේ තමයි දිලිඳුකම තුරන් කිරීම සඳහා කටයුතු කරමින් ඉන්නේ. ඒ අනුව විශේෂයෙන්ම අපේ සමුද්‍ර සංවර්ධන දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව අපි මේ වෙනකොට සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ප්‍රජා සවිබල ගැනීම දෙසට යොමු කරලා තියෙනවා. පසුගිය වසර තුල අපි ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම ආකාර කීපයකින් ප්‍රජාව සවිබල ගැනීම මේ වැඩසටහන දියත් කරනු ලැබුවා ගරු නියෝජ්‍ය කතානායකතුමනි. විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි කල්පනා කරනවා පුජ්‍යලයින් හෝ පවුල් ආර්ථික වශයෙන් සවිබල ගන්න යුතුයි කියලා. නමුත් ආර්ථික වශයෙන් පමණක් සවිබල ගන්නලා අපිට සමාජයේ අපි අපේක්ෂා කරන ඒ අපේක්ෂිත තත්ත්වයන් ළඟා කර ගැනීමට අපහසුයි ගරු නියෝජ්‍ය කතානායකතුමනි. ඒ නිසා අපි ඔවුන් ආර්ථික වශයෙන් සවිබල ගන්නවා වගේම ඔවුන් මානසික වශයෙන්ුත් ඒ වගේම අවශ්‍ය අනිකුත් මූල්‍යමය සාක්ෂරතාව වශයෙන්ුත් ඒ වගේම සමාජ ආරක්ෂණයත් ලබා දෙමින් ඔවුන් සවිබල ගැනීමේ වැඩසටහනක් අපි පසුගිය වර්ෂය තුල ආරම්භ කරලා මේ වෙනකොට අපි ක්‍රියාත්මක කරමින් තිබෙනවා.
Madhya Pradesh in India was showcased as a key tourist destination for Sri Lankan travelers. A high-level delegation from the government of Madhya Pradesh, including the officials from the Madhya Pradesh State Tourism Development Corporation, noted this in an event took place in Colombo day before yesterday. The High Commission of India in Colombo organized an event on tourism titled India-Sri Lanka Tourism Connect from the Ganges to the Kalani, a voyage of friendship and discovery, just 2 days back in Colombo. This event has been organized with a view to promote greater tourism linkages between the two countries, with a focus on understanding analytics, appreciating branding and discovering technology. The event witnessed participation of the tourism industry ecosystem of Sri Lanka, including the prominent outbound and inbound tour operators, hospitality leaders and media. Key experts from India representing branding, analytics and technology also attended the event. The event also featured a keynote address and presentation by India's Tourism Ministry Joint Secretary S. Hari Kishore. His address highlighted India's diverse tourism landscape, its evolving branding strategy and new opportunities for Sri Lankan travelers to experience both luxury and affordable travel across India. On the sidelines, various meetings were organized with prominent hospitality companies and Mahabodhi Society. Further, a roundtable interaction with Ramayana artists and storytellers had also been organized. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism Vijay Herath and High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, attended the event. Stay tuned. We will return after the short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. A new study by the Center for Poverty Analysis highlights how artificial intelligence and trade policy reforms could significantly transform Sri Lanka's employment landscape. The report suggests that workers displaced by AI could be absorbed into export competitive sectors with appropriate policy adjustments. The analysis indicates that reducing tariffs and enhancing sector competitiveness could help transition workers from declining sectors like agriculture to growing manufacturing industries. Researchers emphasized that while both AI and trade have potential to boost productivity, they also create disruptive shifts in labor demand that require careful policy planning. The report calls for strategies to smooth labor market adjustments, noting that competitive manufacturing sectors could absorb workforce displaced by both technological changes and agricultural sector reforms.
I used to work on issues of political economy and conflict in Africa, but recently in my role at the World Bank, I've been focusing a lot on South Asia, in particular on the issues of labor markets growth and recently technology and trade in the region. And so twice a year, we produce this report, the South Asia Development Update. So in spring and fall of every year, we release this report. Our office, we're the Office of the Chief Economist for South Asia, so we're based in Washington, D.C., and we focus on kind of macro trends and broad questions that affect all of the countries in South Asia. This particular edition of the South Asia Development Update focuses on jobs, AI, and trade, and in particular, the impact of those two large kind of mega trends on the labor market.
A key finding from the Center for Poverty Analysis report suggests that while artificial intelligence and trade have potential as economic equalizers, they currently risk benefiting only a small, digitally equipped segment of Sri Lanka's population. This analysis emerged during a presentation of their comprehensive study linking jobs, AI, and trade policy.
The report does something quite powerful. It links, as Jonah talked about, three big themes we are all worrying about these days: jobs, AI, and trade, and asks how policy can move workers out of low productivity traditional economy into a modern, AI-enabled, trade-integrated one. My headline, looking at this report through Sri Lankan eyes, is this: AI and trade, they can be powerful equalizers, but in Sri Lanka today, they are more likely to reward a small slice of people who are actually in the digital queue.
A high-level delegation of Indian financial regulators has concluded a 3D capacity building program in Sri Lanka aimed at strengthening the country's financial oversight capabilities. The training sessions focused on enhancing cooperation in financial sector supervision and addressing emerging challenges in the regulatory landscape. The delegation from India's Financial Action Task Force cell included experts from the Reserve Bank of India, Securities and Exchange Board, and Insurance Regulatory Authority. They conducted specialized training for officials from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Securities and Exchange Commission, and Insurance Regulatory Commission. The program covered regulatory oversight, supervisory practices, and case-based discussions on compliance enhancement. The Indian delegation also met with Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe to review ongoing cooperation and discuss regulatory frameworks for virtual asset service providers. This visit marks the second phase of engagement between the two countries, building on virtual interactions held earlier this year with plans for additional virtual sessions and follow-up visits to further strengthen bilateral financial cooperation. Stay tuned for stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today. The All-Share Price Index dropped by 122.24 points to close at 22,982.72. The S&P SL20 dropped by 17.57 points to close at 6,364.61. The turnover was over 3.8 billion rupees and 146 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Take care and good night.